Thus a woman deceives you disturbingly. Nietzsche. Your view of love is a lie, not because you are naive or weak, but because you were taught a carefully constructed fantasy. They say love is surrender, purity, spiritual connection. That delicate, morally superior woman is elevated, her selfless love and unconditional tenderness. What if I told you that's all an illusion that blinds you? An illusion that hides the raw, strategic, uncomfortable truth? What if Nietzsche was right? Nietzsche did not disparage women. They were understood. He saw them clear of Christian morality and romantic sentiment. His view was this: their nature is neither weak nor innocent nor morally superior. They strategize. They are pure power disguised as weakness. You're the useful fool who thinks delicacy is weakness. Error. We're taught to idealize, project, and see what we lack in others from childhood. What you project onto others distances you from the truth, warns Nietzsche. Not a woman lover. Love what you think she is, what you need her to be, what suits you. She's not that. She's much more. She instinctive. She has survived. She calculates. Not out of hatred, but to adapt to a world that has always excluded her from visible power. She became dominant in the shadows. While you seek understanding, she examines your cracks. While you dream of soul fusion, she gauges her influence without your knowledge. Not because she is manipulative, but because she was thrust into invisible power. Nietzsche was clear. Hidden, silent, non-touching power is most effective. You consider love equal. Nietzsche giggles. He sees love between men and women as a veiled war. Hidden passion is a power struggle. A power struggle disguised as romance to avoid frightening. But the game is clear. Who affects whom? Who concedes first? Who controls another's desire? The real dynamic is that non-seers lose. Does it look dark? It is. But it exists. Nietzsche demands that. Stop idealizing, moralizing, and ethically masking impulses. Love isn't pure. An evolutionary approach. Need, ego, and desire. It's not bad. Makes it human. Humans are always ambivalent. Nietzsche respects women. He hates men's caricatures. That image of the pure muse, the lady who waits, and the angel who saves man from his brutality. Nietzsche says that image is a sham. The worst part is that many prefer the farce to reality. Truth is uncomfortable. It means accepting that women desire, struggle, and use power differently. The hardest hit. That celebrated feminine morality is not virtue, survival. This is strategic adaptation to centuries of exclusion. Can't you rule outside? Control the other's mind. Make yourself indispensable through influence, not force. Psychological power. That's relationship control. Nietzsche saw it with terrifying clarity. Where do you fit among this? Which covert war character are you? Which romantic gives unconditionally or peeks behind the curtain? This is true. Those who don't see the game are on the board. If you think love is a refuge, you don't realize it's a battleground. Nietzsche says women aren't inferior. Different she is, she follows different rules. History has forced her to develop other weapons, not because she is different. The woman whispers where the man shouts. Where men demand, women influence. By contrast, she has perfected a power that doesn't need recognition to work. She doesn't need legitimacy because she's successful. You still think love can do everything. She knows love is a tool, sometimes a weapon, sometimes a shield, but always functional. She sees your love as an investment, while you see it as redemption. Is there surrender? Yes. But conditional? Any tenderness? Yes. Strategic, though. That makes her lucid, not cold. You uncomfortable? Good. This truth serves that purpose. Nietzsche wrote to break you, to remove the bandages one by one, because only then can you rebuild from reality, not fantasy. This is reality. Projections taint gender love. She represents what he wants to be. He's what she needs to control. Both approach disguised as desire, tenderness, and promises. They want power, influence, and emotional territory. Nietzsche advocates lucidity and nakedness, not hatred. He suggests that we stop being emotional children and start understanding that every human relationship has power, that gender morality is an adaptation, that tenderness can be control, and that love can be a low-intensity war. If you refuse to see this, you will continue living in a golden cage, thinking you are loved when you are useful, giving when you give away your power, and choosing when you are chosen. The future of relationships is stripping them bare and accepting that real equality will come from understanding and seeing the other as they are, not as they should be. Nietzsche says to stop looking for angels and start seeing people, their lights and shadows. In that vision, without illusions, true freedom begins. Love's biggest enemy is the lie, not hatred. Modern love, in movies, social media, and motivational phrases, is full of sweet lies. Nietzsche advises removing them by the roots, because as long as you think she's better than you, you'll lose power. As long as she thinks you're an emotional savior, she'll play a role she doesn't belong in. Want real love? Stop needing first. Needy people surrender unconditionally. Someone who surrenders without conditions loses power. Losing influence makes one an emotional slave. Nietzsche doesn't want that for you. Nietzsche wants freedom. Truthful love, not fantasy. To build relationships where both parties know what they want. Because once you realize this, you'll stop wondering why they left, manipulated, or broke you. You will wonder, why did I want to believe a lie? Why did I like seeing one part? What part of me idealized others to avoid facing myself? The revolution is real. Not by changing them, but by changing your perspective. If you see the woman as autonomous, instinctive, and strategic, you won't need to elevate her. Understand her, not destroy her. Nietzsche believes that begins true respect. Clarity, not hatred or misogyny, demystifies. That may finally allow us to build something real, not requiring masks, roles, or projections, something that comes from brutally accepting who we are and what we can become despite everything. And you? Will you look unfiltered? Do you prefer loving an illusion? Another unsettling door opens here. What if this structure of emotional power between men and women was a deeper manifestation of Nietzsche's will to power? Because it's about something deeper and more visceral than gender relations. Unconscious desire to dominate, influence, and resist. The fascinating and disturbing thing is that this struggle for emotional control is unconscious. It's an invisible theater. You think and believe you choose. In reality, you're acting on unquestioned impulses, inherited, internalized, and unrecognizable impulses. Nietzsche hits us hardest there. Without brutal self-knowledge, freedom is impossible. Ask yourself, are you attracted to your attraction, or are you drawn to those who play with your insecurity better? Who's better? The one who gives without hesitation, or the one who leaves when you need her? Why do you confuse passion with love? You're not seeking love, you want to affirm yourself through others. Nietzsche did not directly develop this figure, but it fits perfectly. Narcissism in relationships, when you love someone for how they make you feel about yourself, not for who they are. You want a mirror that matches your ideal self, not a person. What role do women play in this game? The same as men. Validators, mirrors, symbols, not people. Nietzsche intuitively understood this functioning without using that word. Love turns into self-deception when the other is used for self-affirmation. Do you grasp? When both parties have hidden agendas, equality is impossible. Everyone has one. His goal is to feel powerful, needed, and in charge. According to Nietzsche, women have learned to manipulate that desire without his knowledge. Instead of manipulating, she has been trained for centuries to survive this way. And you? You think you're winning but are guided. You think you write your script but you're acting in a play from before you were born. Take it further. What if this silent war caused so much modern love suffering? What if we don't want to understand each other? Because maturity requires accepting that others challenge you, not complete you. The childish love Nietzsche described does not want maturity. It wants salvation, fiction, and protection. They told you love will heal, complete, and elevate you. Nietzsche rejects that idea. Because you don't understand anything if you seek redemption in others, the other cannot save you. That's a mirror, sometimes broken. Do you dare look there? That's the big test. Looking at others without filters is like looking at yourself without excuses. That's terrifying. Therefore, you idealize. That is why you imagine the angelic woman who will never betray you, always understand you, and never play with your emotions. You refuse to admit that you play, manipulate, and seek power, even if you deny it. If it exists, true love begins without desire. It starts with the truth, who you are, who she is, and the courage to not embellish it. That requires loss. Stop being your own romantic movie's hero. It requires admitting that you are not the center, indispensable, wiser for being a man, or purer for suffering. Nietzsche hinted at another theme with brutal elegance. The silent force that moves many relationships is emotional revenge. How often have you loved to relive your loneliness? How often have you sought someone not to feel inferior? How often have you desired someone not because they attract you, but because their validation would benefit you? Nietzsche knew love often comes from resentment. Resentment toward the world, childhood, and inadequacy. Instead of healing, you project. You unknowingly act out an emotional revenge. Who is the revenge's most frequent target? The woman, because she represents your greatest fear, that she may not need you, love you, or depend on you. Nietzsche understood that many men don't love women. Domesticating her autonomy is their goal. They want no company. They want breathing validation. This is the most hazardous. When love becomes a tool to control the other's freedom, to prevent them from escaping, rising, or growing beyond you, what is left of your power? The other remains free. Her silence persists. You cannot fully control her universe, and that hurts. You wanted security, not truth. You wanted facts, not myths. You wanted dominance, not equality. But Nietzsche forbids comfort. He makes you uncomfortable. He makes you realize that you love others for how they make you feel. That's not love. Disguised need. Have you seen behind the veil? Not cruel, it's complicated, not evil, the will to power. Will doesn't discriminate gender. Both have, both employ it. Sometimes gently, sometimes cruelly, sometimes unknowingly. Love is so human and dangerous because of that. Next time you feel victimized in a relationship, ask yourself, were you deceived? Would you rather not see? Were you manipulated? Did you let yourself be manipulated to avoid your emptiness? Did she play with you? Did your need create the perfect stage to dominate? Because Nietzsche doesn't say not to love. He wants you to wake up, not give your soul for a smile, not confuse affection with submission, and not think the other completes you before you face yourself. Love does not redeem. A mirror. If you don't like what you see, it's not their fault. It is your mission, battleground, philosophy, and life. Do you want to love or escape yourself? What remains when all illusions are gone? What remains when you can no longer lie to yourself in the emotional mirror? Always had what you have, you. Non-you you designed to fit. Not the convenient you. Not you who kneeled to avoid losing. You who stood tall after everything else fell. This is where things get interesting. If feeling valid no longer requires love, if you stop seeking redemption in others, after rejecting the games you once confused with love, you can love without losing yourself. Not from wanting or needing, but from a clear decision to share your freedom with another. That, my friend, is a silent revolution, one not seen in movies or songs. Since true love is silent, it needs no proclamation. It needs neither likes nor demonstrations. Genuine love is like a tectonic force, invisible but capable of moving continents. You must cross the desert to get there. Desert where Nietzsche wants you lost, because only there do foreign voices fade. Only there do masks break. Only in that unbearable emptiness do you find something neither power nor approval can give you. Truth. You can't return once you're there. Once you see, you can't stop. After learning the game, you can't play it the same. You can no longer view love as innocent. You cannot accept emotional comfort from ignorance. That's not sad, that's power. Now you can pick. Don't react, not beg, fear not, choose. With knowledge of what you offer and what you will never negotiate, because true love is not blind surrender. Two awakened beings form an alliance. Congratulations if you've made it this far, are still listening, or are cracking inside. You leave the theater. The puppet strings are visible. Now you have a rare option. Start living, not acting. I invite you to do something more radical than declaring love. Subscribe to see the truth unfiltered. The channel is not here to entertain you. It will break you and build you back. Leave me a phrase in the comments, just one. Truth doesn't need praise. If you got this far, tell me. Because viewers who finish don't want stories, want philosophical weapons. I appreciate your openness. See you next video. Or not. Perhaps we will meet at a point in consciousness where masks no longer work and only the gaze remains. Remember, the most dangerous whispers are not others. Before sleeping, you make them. Good night, ideally good awakenings.